Good afternoon. Today we're talking with Rick Menze, the Hospitaller for the Charlotte region of the Order of Malta. Rick, what is the Order of Malta, and what in the world is a Hospitaller?
Well, Frank, firstly, let me thank you for this opportunity. It's a real treat to be speaking with you and those of your audience, and I'm really pleased to be able to talk about such a wonderful organization as the Order of Malta. To talk a little bit about Malta generally, it was founded over 900 years ago in Jerusalem, and it has the distinction of being the fourth oldest order within the Catholic Church and the first lay religious order within the Catholic Church. Malta started as a group of people to care for pilgrims who fell ill on their pilgrimage to the Holy Land. And Malta started with a hospital and grew to a number of hospitals, and so that's where the name Hospitaller originated. And I'll talk a little bit more about Hospitallers today in a minute. But over the years, the order also found that pilgrims were at risk for being attacked by robbers, and so then there became somewhat of a military component to the order, and there existed within the order Hospitallers and knights, and the knights then protected the pilgrims during their visit to the Holy Land. And then over the years, the organization grew, the number of hospitals grew, care for the sick and the poor emerged as a basic charism of the order, and the role of the knights expanded to protecting or fighting during the Crusades, and so then the second charism of the order emerged, and that was defense of the faith, the Catholic faith. Let's fast forward to present day. So now the work of the order is much greater than just caring for people physically in hospitals, but Malta is active in over 100 countries worldwide, and there is an extensive network of activity that is both financial contributions to local NGOs that are caring for people at point of service, and also direct hands-on activity by Malta members who provide care for the sick and the poor. Additionally, the defense of the faith component has changed from actual physical fighting for the tenets of the Catholic faith, and the fight has become more emotional and spiritual and intellectual, and the fight or the defense of the faith is primarily an effort to protect our core beliefs from the onslaught of a primarily secular society. So if you think about the organization of the order, and as I said, we're active in over 100 countries worldwide. We have over 14,000 members. In the United States, for example, we have 3 associations that comprise the order's organization. The American Association, geographically primarily in the Northeast. The Federal Association, of which Charlotte is a member, is primarily in the Southeast and the Midwest, and then the Western Association, obviously, in the West. Within the Federal Association, there are 28 regions, Charlotte being a region. Central Carolina, which is the Triad, is a region. Raleigh is a region. And within the state of North Carolina, we have well over 100 members. So every region is organized by someone called a Hospitaller. And that brings us to the answer to your second question.
Very good, thank you. Rick, what are some of the ways that the knights and dames care for the sick and the poor?
Another good question, Frank. Worldwide, Malta is active in a couple of ways. We provide what what you might consider hands-on care, where we work directly with the sick and the poor, and we also support either by direct donation or through the Malta Grants program, many local organizations, NGOs who provide care at point of service. If you go specifically to our region, the Charlotte region, members are active in a couple of sponsored efforts. We work directly with Missionaries of the Poor, who are based in Monroe. We work directly with Urban Ministry. We work directly with Room in the Inn. We work directly with Holy Angels. And we are also active, we have a very active prison ministry program where we actually are able to take Bibles to those who are incarcerated members of our society, and we are able to share the Word of God with those individuals.
So tell me about the pilgrimages to Lourdes that the order takes.
Oh, Frank, you're on a real roll here. You're asking all the really great questions that features some of the really good works that Malta does, and the Lourdes pilgrimage is a real signature program with us, and it's something that's been around for many years, and it involves people from all over the world traveling annually to Lourdes, generally in early May, and we bring as our guests what within the Malta community are known as malades, and malade is French for sick, and people that are seriously ill, and they come to Lourdes under the Malta sponsorship to seek the opportunity for physical and spiritual healing through the waters at Lourdes, and the healing powers of the waters, of course, was initially enunciated by the Blessed Mother to Saint Bernadette in the middle 1800s, and this has been a source of great comfort for not only the malades but also Malta members worldwide, and the number of people that we have sponsored in recent years extends well into the thousands.
So how are malades chosen?
Malades are nominated by members, and they go through a serious vetting process on a couple of bases. Number one, there needs to be a need, somebody that's seriously ill, but also you have to face the fact that if you think about a trip from the United States to Lourdes, France, you've got a 9-hour plane ride, and there are some people that are just physically not in a position to be able to withstand that kind of trip, plus the week in Lourdes that a malade would spend away from the care of their primary physician. So there needs to be some consideration given to those people, and that's what we do.
Rick, tell me a little bit about the Defense of the Faith mission of the order.
Okay. As I mentioned, in the early years, the Defense of the Faith involved protecting pilgrims during their pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and that has evolved over the centuries to the point where the primary defense of our faith comprises the protection of our core Catholic beliefs from the assault of a primarily secular society. And those core beliefs includes things like the sanctity of life from the point of conception, the existence of marriage exclusively as a bond between a man and a woman, and the importance of life until natural death. And so these are the things that we spend a lot of time focusing on, and of course, in order to defend these core beliefs, we have to be able to understand them. So much of our Defense of the Faith effort at this point involves educational efforts and trying to inform our members, as well as others who are always welcome at these events, to understand better not only what our faith beliefs are, but why they are beliefs. Let me give you an example. So according to a recent Pew Research study, almost 70% of Catholics don't believe that transubstantiation is the actual changing of the bread and wine into the body and blood of Christ. So what we are doing now is undertaking an educational program about the Eucharist so that we not only understand what transubstantiation means, but we're able to better explain the concept to those people who don't share our beliefs.
Wow, Rick, the order does a lot. What do the members get from it?
Okay. Thinking back to my childhood, I remember in religion class learning that the pathway to heaven is not comprised by prayer alone, but is a combination of both prayer and good works. And I think the Lord told us that that's part of our duty as Christians and as Catholics. And so the first thing that members get out of membership and service is fulfilling that duty as Christ has told us. I think also personally there are a host of reasons that people are members and what the return is, and I'd like to speak personally for a minute. So I'm one of these guys that I'm kind of a gonna guy. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and I get around to doing about 20% of what I say I'm gonna do. And what Malta does is it provides me a structure and an opportunity for service, and it provides me not only that opportunity, but it also provides me a group that holds me accountable. So for me, it gives me a reason and a way to perform the duties that I feel that I have to my fellow man, and it makes sure that I do them. I think there's another element to service that is important, and that is that there's a tremendous amount of satisfaction. It's like the old story, when you give $1, you receive 100 in return, and when you give to somebody else, the return, what they give you in terms of gratitude and appreciation, far exceeds what you do for them.
Great. Rick, is the Order of Malta something any Catholic can join?
The direct answer is yes, Frank, but I think it's a little more nuanced than that. First of all, joining the Order of Malta is somewhat of a calling, because when you join, you generally join for a lifetime. So it's something that needs some reflection, and so there is a process that exists. First of all, you need to be invited or nominated by a current member. Then you have to get the approval of your local pastor. And then there is a year of what's called formation, where it's kind of like a trial membership, and you are involved in a lot of the activities of the order, and you decide if this is really something for you. And after a year of successful formation, there is a ceremony called investiture, and during investiture, you actually take the vows of the order, and then you become a member of the lay religious community that is the Order of Malta.
Is there anything else about the Order of Malta that you'd like the audience to know?
Sure. So I think we've talked about the dual charisms of the order, care for the sick and the poor and defense of the faith, but there's also another aspect that's not always clearly enunciated, but I think is really, really important, and that's the fellowship that members share among one another. And if I think back on my life, I've known really, really fine people that have helped shape me as a human being. And some of the finest people that I have ever met are members of the order. And we share a fellowship, but a fellowship that it's special because it's very, very, it has this strong religious component. And we're bound together by our shared Catholic faith. And so the bottom line is, when we work together and we pray together, we also hopefully grow together, and we help one another and support one another in that growth. And of course, the ultimate goal that we all share is to help each other get to heaven.